This is the reason why it's not a daily. This is the reason why. If it didn't have all that little things, that you have to do, then yeah, I'll drive this daily. But because it needs all that, it's more of a weekend car for that reason. Rotaries don't have a great reputation, but it's usually because people mod them. That's the honest truth. If you change something on a car, you have to understand. You changed its mechanics. You changed everything. That's with the classic. The problem is it comes with the cost. That's the hard part. The cost.
Yeah.
Just make sure you have the keys for every gate, because at every gate there is a keeper.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Dare to Drive podcast. I'm your host, Pete. We have a very special guest today and a very special car in the back right here. We have Alex and his FD RX-7 right here. So, if you want to do a little introduction on yourself, tell a little bit about yourself, what you brought us today.
Well, I brought a Bathurst. It's I guess it would be a limited edition model that was only available exclusively in Japan. They made 500 of them after that 12-hour race that they did of Bathurst in Australia. And I guess this was the competition they actually defeated Porsche in. And so in commemoration of that defeat, of that victory they had, they made this fucking guy behind us. And it was created in '95, but then brought back again for a limited time, I think in '98 or '97. Don't quote me on that.
Okay.
But yeah.
Nice.
That's for the most part of that.
Okay, for sure. How we like to get started on this podcast right here is just your whole journey. So we're going to just take it back and what got you into cars initially, and the whole car scene and everything.
I never fucking liked cars, dude. I fucking hated cars.
Really? Why is that?
Well, my dad used to fuck me up, you get me? So my dad had a shop. So, and this is back when I was like a fucking little kid. And I remember he would always constantly have me fucking work on his shit or something. Obviously he was just probably trying to teach me shit, but you're a fucking 13-year-old. Really, what the fuck do you want? I don't want to fucking be under a greasy ass fucking car. That's the last thing on my mind. I see all my friends taking off to the fucking park, which coincidentally would be like this park here that we're at. So I was like, this is bullshit. So anywho, as time went on, I started learning more shit. I still didn't like it. Personally, I still think it's a dirty job, so FYI. But for the most part, my pops kind of pressed me on that. And in time, when I ended up getting into my first car, was a Toyota Tercel. And I remember the clutch went bad on that. I swapped out the clutch in it. There goes that skill that my dad just handed me. I'm like, oh shit, I know how to do this. And then later on, I ended up fucking that car up somehow. I forget how. I think I over revved it or some shit. But anywho, this is early days. And then I ended up finally finding a little more interest in cars after I got the MK3. And then obviously that one heated up because we all know that the head on that was like, the torque was wrong. So they will always heat up.
I see.
So anywho, I ended up, fast forward, ended up getting a Honda Accord. From the Honda Accord, we ended up swapping it. I think we dropped a B18 in it or some shit like that. And
sick.
I ended up fucking crashing that.
Oh no.
And well, they did me a solid, crash into me, but you know how the story goes. It was her fault, my fault, your fault, everybody's fault,
Yeah.
So we're just gonna say it's her fault. But so we ended up fucking finding ourselves in a situation where like, fuck, we don't have a fucking car or anything. And then so my pops was being a dick, right? And got my sister, he got my sister a Beamer, and then my other sister, she got her like some fucking Toyota. And with me, I'm like, all right, cool, fucking, I'm gonna get some sick ass fucking ride. And at the time, I actually started getting into lowriders.
Oh, really?
So I was really into that. I used to follow this group, Majestic. They're based out of San Diego.
Okay, yeah.
I used to follow them a lot, and most of the meets they'll do was Elysian Park. It was like that Dodgers.
Yeah, that's
park.
iconic right there.
Yeah. So I fucking would go there a lot, and afterwards, I remember my pops tells me like, hey, I wanted a coupe de ville. Like a little caddy or something. That's what I wanted. So my dad hits me up one day, like, you know, like, well, I'm fucking coming from school. I think I forget what I was taking in school, but whatever. I was taking some classes and shit. But I ended up dropping out, dude. So it didn't even fucking matter. But anywho, I ended up going home, and that tells me, hey, so check it out. You know, I got your sister, this and that. You know, and I got you a car too. You know.
Okay.
And I was like, oh fuck yeah, here we go, dude. Like, the shit's about to get high, you know? Like, hell yeah.
But he didn't tell you what
car it was. No, not yet. But to my surprise, you'll see. So I'm like, all right, fuck yeah. Like, I'm gonna put some fucking some hydraulics on that bitch. Some fucking what's that fucking I couldn't think. I was putting sound. I wanted to put sound in it. I wanted to put some fucking I forget that wheel brand, dude. There's some spoke wheels. I forget what they're called, dude.
Okay.
But anywho, so that's what I'm expecting. I'm expecting a big American vehicle kind of shit, you know?
Yeah.
So I went in again, and I just went in because I figured he probably had it like in the garage or some shit, you know? And then he tells me, oh, did you see your car? It was outside. I was like, what the fuck? It's outside. I'm like, nah, I didn't see my fucking car. He's like, it's outside. I'm like, the fuck? I'm like, oh, they must have stole that shit. So I look out. I don't see shit, you know? He's like, it's right there. I'm like, what the fuck is that? It's a Miata.
Okay.
And so he completely went the opposite way of what I wanted.
Wow, okay.
And so he ends up telling me, oh yeah, so I picked it up. I guess they got it from the junkyard or some shit. Got it for a good price, you know, it was a steal. And his buddy told him, hey, look, it fucking just has a couple little problems here and there, but I mean, I'll turn over once you know, address these things, you know?
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, okay, cool, yeah, whatever. So I fucking hated the car the whole time, dude. I was working on it, you know, just fucking hating it. So the thing is, hating it. That it all came from working on it.
Right, I get you.
But the driving it, that's where the love came. I'm like, whoa, hold up.
Yeah.
Like it has some good handling on this shit. Like it feels like kind of like a little bit of a slow ass go-kart.
Yeah, exactly. That's what a lot of people say.
You know, so that's what I was like, whoa. But prior from that, I was like just fucking stupid or lug, this and that, this thing is breaking on. Just constantly bickering against the car by myself. So I seemed like a crazy person, just kind of going off the, like, But anywho, so I ended up fixing that up, modded it up and everything, fiddling with the car. And afterwards, I mean, unfortunate event, I crashed in that. I mean, I guess you could say I had too much fun with it. So I was bummed out, like just broken. And then by then I also, by then I had met my baby mama, you know.
Okay.
And I was in a situation where I needed a car that could carry a baby too.
Right.
Because now we have a situation like baby's on the way and all this. I was like, oh fuck. So I ended up getting a Mazda Protege 5 wagon. So I was like, oh yeah.
Sweet.
So I ended up fixing that up, modding it, and it was cool. I mean, that's kind of what got me going towards, already at that point, I felt I'm a Mazda fan. Yeah, I mean, I already saw it right there. Because then later on, we went and picked up a van. And then, you know, and from the van, the van kind of sucked though. But I'm not going to lie, it had like terrible heating problems.
Oh, no.
It had like so many restrictions that it had in front, like it just didn't really flow with, you know, it just didn't, because, you know, it didn't flow with the air. So it was constantly heating up. So I upgraded this, upgraded that, and it became it started becoming a money pit that I didn't want.
I see.
Yeah, I mean, but I liked it because it was it was a Mazda van. I mean, fucking, not a lot of people could say that. So I was like, fuck it. But I gave it to actually my in-law, and he took it up to New Jersey, and then it made it. So
nice.
I was like, yeah, that's what I said to myself. Like, hell yeah, good job.
That's all your work right there.
Good job, it made it.
That's cool.
But
okay, sweet. I mean, what was the first car that she actually modded? Was the Miata or which?
No, it was the Tercel.
It was the first one?
Yeah.
What did you have done to that first car?
That's why I over-revved it. I put a heavy-duty, I think it was a Clutch Masters or ACT clutch. But it was the clutch available during that time. We're talking about like over 15 years ago.
I see.
You know, fucking I think 20 years ago, if anything.
And
this is a kid that fucking like, just like, I wanted something to, because honestly, dude, have you ever seen a Tercel?
I don't think so.
Okay, mine was like that baby blue. So
Okay.
It just kind of doesn't really look so masculine, you know?
Yeah.
But hey, if it takes off on you, you're like, whoa, you look at it differently, you know?
Right.
So yeah, but that was really the first one.
Okay, for sure. I mean, with that car, did you, like, what did you have done to it? You had, like, coilovers, wheels?
Oh,
what was the whole plan
all
with that?
All I did was the clutch.
That's it?
That's why I'm telling you. I
for
over-ripped
sure.
it.
Okay.
And I was done. But that was the first one that really I could say I was proud of because I did it all by myself.
Okay.
And then at the same time, I was kind of sad because it's like you saw what you did and you also saw it go down in flames. You're like, damn.
I see.
But yeah.
100%. I mean, for the Miata wise, what did you have to done to that car? Because I know the Miata community is huge too.
Well, at the time when I started, and again, this is probably like 17 years ago.
Okay.
Even now, there's people still kind of look at Miata as like a chick car, you know, here and there, depending what group you roll with.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, but like if you're in the muscle car scene, all that, of course, you look at it like, oh, that's a female car.
Right.
But if you're like rolling with the JDMs, everyone kind of has his respect already.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly.
So for the most part, like that car at the time, there wasn't too many things available, so I had to get custom things done, like cams and shit like that.
Okay.
And
yeah.
so I did the cams, I did the fucking the whole taking off weight off the fucking the crankshaft and so forth, and just like fucking what do they call it, a high volume pump.
Okay.
That I had gotten made by some fools. This is back when I was staying out towards like I want to say closer to Mojave, because I used to live not so far from because afterwards then I transitioned out of here. I moved close to Rosamond or Rosamede, I don't fucking know how you say it, but it's Avenue A, so that's basically where Willow Springs is at, the racetrack.
Okay, yeah.
So I lived like literally like 5 blocks away from that shit. Like the street you got off on, you know, there's a Jack in the Box right there. That was the first street you come up. That was the street I stayed at.
For sure.
So yeah, from like that car, I tell you, like out there, you'll find so many people just willing to do just random ass shit. Like, oh fuck it, let's take it on. Like kind of like those garage shows you see on TV. Like, oh, let's take on this project, and kind of
they do anything and everything.
Yeah, whatever. Like, fuck it, we're down. We'll do it. Yeah. You're like, for real? Like, yeah, we got it. Like, okay, cool. So, and that's why I kind of got more involved also with people that were because I actually started making the car naturally aspirated. Okay. I didn't boost it or anything. So, and when I finally dynoed it, I was putting from remember 195 at the wheel, which is pretty
good. Yeah, especially for the Miatas, they're super light too.
Yeah. So naturally aspirated, I felt like I was doing good.
Yeah.
And yeah, so unfortunately, but that had a sad story to it. But yeah.
Okay. I mean, did you take it to the track, to Willow Springs or anything like that?
Actually, no, I didn't because well, one, my pops kind of fucking like had me by the chain, kind of like, no. Yeah. And so what I did do is I would take on the crest a lot because I was going to school at Trade Tech. Okay. So from Trade Tech, and I'll take Andrew's crest. Yeah. Every day.
Sweet. I mean, how long the drive is from that?
Depending how fast you go, but it's supposed to be 47 miles, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay. Sick. It's awesome. Yeah. I mean, from that experience, like, if you have been through the canyons and everything like that, how would you say the community there is, too? Like, I mean, have you encountered anybody?
I did. You bumped into people here and there. Like, some are for the most part, what I bumped into people are, I try to be like really cool and chill. Yeah, 100%. Because you never know who you're talking to, you know what I mean? And so for the most part, they've all been kind of good experience, but I've had misses in here and there, you know?
Of course.
Like, and the guys that usually it's because they're pissed or hating or they want something that you have, and then or sometimes it's like, oh yeah, I could have overtook you, but I chose not to. It's like, okay, well, let's go for another one. Next time. Oh, okay, then what the fuck? Right. Yeah. Why are we talking about this then?
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And so yeah, but for the most part, yeah, that was cool. I mean, later on, I got introduced to the tracks, but I only did it a couple times. That was it. Like, and then now I can't really do it. So.
Okay, for sure. I mean, the last car that you mentioned was the other Mazda, the wagon, right?
Yeah, and then I also had because I also had a FC too.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Okay. How do you compare the FC to the FD?
Oh, well, those were two different builds. This one, I keeping it more factory style, like,
Okay.
you know.
Yeah.
And then the other one was just built for drift.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Okay.
so that one, we got that engine. So we modded the engine when we got it over here, you know, but we also got it modded out there in Japan. It was modded by Mamiya.
Okay,
And
sick.
so later
That's
on,
awesome.
we slapped that engine on, and when we slapped that engine on, it ended up, it was cool. I mean, honestly, it's sad because he had to go, but I needed a house, so anywho. But, I mean, comparison to this one, that one, obviously that was like a monster, you know? And then 'cause it was all gutted out, I mean, fucking, dude, it was just light.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
yeah, I bet.
It was just straight kind of raw power, twin scroll turbo, the standalone Haltech ECU, upgraded injectors, like
Okay.
a 1600 and with 1200 cc's of secondaries and so forth. Yeah, I mean, it was,
Okay, sweet.
yeah, it was a lot of shit going on there.
Okay, that's awesome. I mean, with the next car, the wagon, right? With that car, what did you have done to it too?
Oh,
Do you want to give a little rundown?
That was kind of funny. I gave that one to my dad. He actually crashed it like 2 weeks after. They didn't tell me though. He said he was having fun with it, and he was saying like, "Oh, it was a cool car and that, yeah, this and that." And I'm like, then I started asking him, "Hey, how come you don't bring that car when you come to LA?"
Yeah.
He's like, "Oh, it's too much for the road." And later on, he confessed, "I fucking crashed it." I was
Oh,
like,
no.
Like hell yeah, there goes my hard work. But so that one we just upgraded the head on that and also did the whole cams, titanium valve stems and titanium valve springs. The fucking cods and all that shit in the back. We replaced all that bullshit with titanium. The bottom half of the block, we kind of just kept it stock because we were trying to fucking really, I wasn't trying to really boost it or anything because what I was trying to do is kind of give it the power of the Mazda Speed Protege,
Okay.
but still keeping the idea of the MP3. The MP3 was more like a naturally aspirated by Racing Beat model that they tuned and they did their specs to it, you know, so forth.
Yeah.
And yeah, so on the Protege, that's kind of where I went with it.
Okay.
We also ran the hard to get ECU tuned by fucking Racing Beat as well. We also got that, and we ended up grabbing an engine off. I remember I went to the junkyard and I found a fucking MP3. The MP3 has a specific, for those of you who don't know, has a specific fucking intake that if you're trying to convert it at least to run like naturally aspirated and also run or trying to run a Mazda Speed turbo, it has a straight flow. It eliminates those butterflies. I forget what they're called, but the secondary valves, yeah.
I see.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it literally does not have them. It's just straight runners.
Right.
So you don't have to fucking swap those out because it's, you know, but if you find one of those, that's something to grab. But for the most part, yeah, that car, we ended up going to the junkyard. I saw it on the side when they're gonna crush the cars already. So they already had removed it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no fucking, because I had seen it prior there at the junkyard, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna go get some shit off of it, and then I fucking completely blanked out because I was getting some other stuff from some other car.
Right.
So then I remembered, and I was like, fuck, I'm gonna come back the next day. So the next day I came back, that shit was already on the other side. I was like, oh fuck. So I was like, oh no. They already stacked cars on top of it too.
Right.
So this is over there at Silmar. I don't know if you guys ever been to that Silmar junkyard.
I think so, yeah.
Okay, so the Silmar junkyard, there's you know how there's like big gate opening? So if you go far out to well, now I'm pretty sure they closed it off, but if you go off to the far side, there's another opening. So that opening on the far side, because there's the main opening and where it gets all flooded and where it rains. So then there's a secondary fucking opening way at the back towards where the gate at. Also that gate it does have current going through it. It does have, so just FYI. So I went all the way to that side, came back around, and I saw the car, and I could see it because I was standing on top of some other cars. So I'm like, it's right fucking there. I just got to get around. So I went, and I'm over there, and it's fucking like, I'm like, don't fall on me, motherfucker. Like, don't crush me. Like, I could hear the wind blowing, kind of like, I'm like, oh man, got to get it out. And then I was able to pull it out. And once I yanked it out, I just fucking chopped it, that harness that was left over, and just fucking pulled it out and just took it. And then I went, and it was only like $100 for that fucking ECU. And dude, that ECU, that manifold, and all that stuff, dude, like it's dirt cheap when you get it at the junkyard. It's when you buy it secondhand, everyone fucking jacks up the price. You know?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah,
so. Especially any aftermarket parts, even I bet like RX-7 parts.
Yeah.
Just JDM tax is crazy.
Oh well, fucking for the most part, yeah, like if you're like bringing stuff in, they tax you for almost everything. They tax you for the shipping itself. You know?
Yeah.
So
crazy prices.
But yeah, like I said, I got some of the stuff I got from the junkyard. Right? It was kind of like a junkyard build, kind of mix things. But I was looking for a specific model. That's why. And then anything I couldn't find by myself, I would obviously go online. And so yeah, so we did the interior of the car. We did instead of running, I wanted a shorter shifter. So the shifter originally was supposed to be, it was a short shifter. But then we went even shorter. We went MX6 shifter because they have the same setup, because I know the FS engine from that one fits on because they had 4 cylinders on the MX6, and they also, that very same FS engine was also in the Ford Probe. I think the 95, 96 Pro. So therefore, kind of like the setup, at least when you're changing gears, kind of sat in the same direction.
Right.
And everything.
Okay.
So I did that, swapped that out, coilovers, retaining rods, lateral links, sway links, sway bars, GT spec struts, which probably don't even know what I'm talking about, but if you're a Mazda guy, you do. But they've been discontinued for like a long ass time ago. But sure. Yeah, and the fucking Mazda Speed interior too.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, any other builds that you've had or anything like that you would want to touch on or anything? I mean, that RX-7, that sounded crazy too.
That was a lot of stuff like that. Honestly, there was a lot. I have like a list of stuff I had put on it, but like off the top of my head, I can't remember.
No,
everything.
You're good.
But
I mean, would you ever get back into drifting like that?
No, I had a heart attack, so I can't really do that, and I have a fucked up arm now. Because after that, I don't know, I feel like it feels weak. So I actually have to use an impact gun for most of the things, or I have someone else torque things down for me, because I literally don't have the strength no more.
I see.
But
sure.
It is what it is. That's what I'm saying. I wish I could go back to the whole track shit, but I can't no more.
Okay, for sure.
But yeah.
For sure. I mean, before we get into the RX-7, we want to do something a little different right here. So we actually did a video a few weeks ago asking the community what would they ask an RX-7 owner right there. So we're going to have my little co-host Lucy come in right now, and she's going to ask a bunch of questions that the community actually asked, that they're curious about.
Hey guys, it's Lucy. I'm your co-host, and welcome to this new segment we're trying out. So we asked a bunch of questions on an Instagram reel to see what people wanted to ask an RX-7 owner. So let's hop into it. So the first question, serious question. Is it handling bad on these or like difficult? I got a buddy who told me to rent one in Japan. There's a premium due to so many accidents in these.
It depends. I mean, if you're heavy on the foot, then yeah, it's gonna act like a wild animal. I mean, because it has the turbo that just kicks in. But it depends also the turbo you have, because if you have the twin sequential turbo, so that you get it at the low revs and then get it at the high revs, it kind of feels, it transitions even, when you're switching through gears and so forth. But if you have like a big turbo and then just like, and then the car being nimble and light, it's really gonna handle terribly, So, but for me, I've noticed that it's been pretty cool. Don't get me wrong, I did lose control and I ate it once. So that's why we have a completely different rear suspension now. So that's a whole nother story. But yeah, for the most part, it's because they're so light, they feel similar to that of a Miata, just more aggressive.
Nice. I get it. They're super light. Do the pop-ups break just as often as the Miata's pop-ups?
I don't know yet. We're gonna find that out, aren't we? I know that the freaking covers take a shit a lot faster than the Miatas.
Oh no.
Because I don't know. I guess the plastic on it, it's just more dry or something. I don't. Maybe the Miatas are thicker. I don't know. But regardless of that, because I know I already have a crack on one of them, so I have to replace them. And I know this company carries these metal ones for that reason, to replace them. But for the most part, they never made those for the Miata that I know of. So that's why I'm saying, like, that's how it's a big problem with the FD. So I haven't come across that problem, but when we get there, well, you'll see the stories.
Hopefully not soon.
Definitely.
How's the apex seal?
They're holding on good because the car right now, I mean, I'm only at like 30,000 miles, so
Oh, wow.
original engine, so
Wow.
I don't even know what you guys are talking about.
Wow.
Not yet.
Did y'all hear that? Not yet, guys. Is it JDM or US made? You said that it is like Japanese. How was the import process? Did you import it?
Well, I had my buddy bring it, and it was a pain. It was a pain. Luckily, he helped me out through the process, but regardless, a DMV does not help you at all. Like, I mean, kind of like when you go to the post office and then you're like, so I'm trying to mail it here, okay, but who you're trying to mail it to? Like this one, and then they tell you, okay, just put that address, and you're like, and you go and put that address, you put it on the wrong spot, but you pointed at that spot. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
That's the spot you told me. Do it again. You're like, oh, and then you got to go back in line. Kind of that scenario. You know, so same process because they couldn't read they needed the paperwork translated, so I went ahead and did that. They needed some other paperwork that from the car itself. They needed a seal. Most important thing too, when you get the car, make sure you get the stamp from customs saying that they already went through the car. Because sometimes they'll give you the paperwork and they'll forget that stamp. And it's a done deal. Everything, they'll give you the receipts and all that, but that little blue seal is the most important thing. CHP will not talk to you if you do not have that. They're like, okay, when you get that, we'll talk. But prior from that, you still have to get the car smogged. So, yeah.
Wow. So what would you recommend to people trying to import a car?
Well, hey, if you really want it, go for it, you know, for the most part. Because if that's what you want, it is what you want. I guess you want to be and live in the world that you're happy in. And if that makes you happy, then why not? Do it. But at the same time, not everyone has that same privilege to just go ahead and buy a car just off the back, you know what I mean? But there's also loans and so forth, you know, things like that can help you out to actually get a vehicle that, you know, of your choosing kind of thing. You know, maybe there's a car you have your eyes set on, you know, and then you're like, man, but I don't have the money. But, you know, there's all these finance companies that are out there that are willing to do that now. Because finance companies, you know how normally you get finance as long as the car is within the states or in the at least in the state that you're currently residing at sometimes, you know, depending on who your loan person would be. Well, in that case, and, you know, you're screwed, right? But now there's companies that actually allow that, you know, car being brought over, you know, and then they send a person to go value the car and view the car and so forth, you know, see its running condition, you know, and then they'll loan you the cash. I mean, I know some companies do it. You know, my buddy actually has a company called it's Phase 9 Motorsports. You know, that he's I want to say he's really helpful with everything. You know, and he's a cool cat. You know, he really likes chatting it up. Sometimes he hits me up in the middle of the night and I'm like, oh, I was sleeping, but it's all good. It's all good. But yeah, he's a cool cat. So you guys will like him. You know, if you like talking. I mean, I like talking, but, you know, there's a certain time you got to go to sleep, too. And, you know, but he's a cool cat, though. But, yeah.
Got it. That's really good advice. How much money have you put into it?
Huh. Yeah. Well, we're sitting somewhere around 80 grand,
wow.
But I paid for the car with the imports fees and the car itself. I ended up it ended up costing me like 30 grand. That was just the car itself. So then registering in California cost me 11,000, and then plus the 3,000 fee they charged me, and then the extra parts I needed to get, so kind of set me back 18 grand. And then some of the stuff I also brought from Japan as well, which, like, you know, a lot of the stuff on the car, you know how they, like, some things look like they're Mazda speed. I don't know if you guys know what Mazda speed is, but if you do, everything on the car that's Mazda speed on my car, it's genuine, actual Mazda speed parts.
Wow.
So that's kind of the reason why it went, you know, just the price went up and up. And then, so yeah, so we're sitting somewhere around 80 something.
Wow. That's a good amount.
Yeah. Could have bought another house though.
Do you actually drive it?
Not really.
That's sad.
Oh,
Really?
No, I do. No, I'm playing. No, I actually do. But for the most part, I try not to just drive it as often because since we're in California, it's bumper to bumper traffic.
Yeah, yeah.
And, you know, you don't want to have someone else's bumper on your bumper. You're like, that doesn't even fit my car, you know? But now it does because he just, you know, hits you. So you see that a lot in Cali. I mean, I remember with my Miata, I have a Mazda Speed Miata as well.
Oh.
It's an 04. When I took it to work, I remember some guy backed up and just clipped it and then just left.
No.
I was like, what the fuck? And FYI, I was a customer. So that's what made it worse. I was like, you mother. But I was like, whatever, dude. You know what? Not even gonna stress over it because the more you get angry about it, the more you fucking just ruins your day. So I was like, whatever. So that's a Miata. I could get all those parts, you know?
Yeah.
But that's the reason why the 7, not so much. I mean, I drive it only on the weekends, really. It's a Sunday car, pretty much. Like you go to church type of thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get it.
Now, I don't really wear a suit when I go with it, but I mean, the suit is the car, so there you go. Yeah.
Would you ever trade it or sell it? This is asked by the Devil MX5. He has an NB Miata. So would you trade it for an NB Miata?
So, depending. Honestly, if I were, not for an NB, obviously, come on. But if there was like a possibility for me to kind of upgrade or get something, because honestly, at this point now, I reached my goal that I want to, and I'm kind of where I'm at now. You know, I bought my house finally, you know, and here's the fun part. I went from being broke as fuck, like literally homeless. I remember with my little girl and my baby mom, we used to sleep at friends' houses. We used to use their living room, stuff like that. We'll sleep on the floor, you know. And so, you know, time and, you know, I just got tired of it, dude. And, you know, I kept fucking applying for jobs and things like that, and just nothing was happening, you know, nothing. So eventually I figured something out, you know, and I picked myself up, and here we are, you know. But so if anything I do now to trade that car, because I already reached my goal, I'll probably trade it just to get something for my kid.
Yeah.
Or maybe even fucking just for college tuition or something for her, you know, like, screw it, I'll do it for that. But I mean, for the most part, I wouldn't want to, but if I had to, kind of thing, you know?
I get it, yeah. You definitely hold it sacred to you.
Yeah.
What do you do for a living, and can you hire this person?
Well, I load trucks. That's serious shit. I load trucks. And, you know, it started off with originally working at AutoZone. And then from AutoZone to, McDonald's, AutoZone, and so forth, you know, kind of just transitioned through all the crappy jobs. And then afterwards I started, you know, like working for this hub. They started, you know, they kind of deal with parcels and stuff like that. And so we just loaded containers and stuff like that. And yeah, so, but I know right now it's like kind of like a dead, because I mean, FedEx laid off people, DHL laid off people, our building laid off people, freaking our little hub. I know Amazon laid off a gang of people. Yeah. You know, my cousin even hit me up like, yo, I'm like, hey bro, I'm lucky I still have a job. So hey, we're just making it happen. But yeah, so really what I do is just like kind of go from job to job, or usually, you know, depending. But right now I've been stuck with that company for a cool minute. So it's just a logistic company, basically what it is. I mean, just load trucks. It's not really a desirable job. Trust me, I hate it. So it's not really something I look forward to. Like if I could go back and make sure I got myself, instead of following the wrong crowd and getting myself educated, you know what I mean? I would take that off back right now. You're like, hell yeah, let's do this again.
I get it.
But yeah.
Okay.
Live and learn.
Last question. Does it go brop?
It does not, because I have a California catalytic converter on it, and luckily, because the car is low, it's still on the car. And I say that because, you know, catalytic converters are very popular nowadays, especially if you drive a Prius, you know. I don't know. Yeah, so this one, it's really actually really quiet. But yeah, so usually when they're like that, it's because they're either bridge ported or street ported, depending on what the port they're going for. But yeah, this one's still, again, still factory. So yeah.
It's cool. Anywho, guys, this completes the segment. Thank you for anyone who asked questions. It was actually really fun. I like hearing what other people have to ask. So thank you.
All right, so back to the car. If you want to give like the whole rundown, what year, make, and model is it, and everything like that too?
This is a 1995 Affini RX-7 Bathurst, or what they call it, I think a Type RB.
Okay.
So,
yeah. So that specific edition, I didn't even know it existed until I met you, actually, to be honest. So could you give a little explanation on what it actually means exactly too? I know you touched on it a little bit earlier, but
so basically it's more of a, if you really break it down, it's more of a Mazda speed model, especially if you see the later model they re-released again, it had all the Mazda speed little things too, like little knickknacks and all this stuff.
Okay.
And from what I understand, also I know the gearing torque ratio on that is a little different from the regular Type R RX-7, but that's basically what mechanics wise. But for the most part, it comes with those, not necessarily Bilstein shocks or anything like that. It comes with I believe they're made by Tokiko, I'm not too sure, but it's a Mazda speed coilovers. That's usually what it comes with. In my case, I have Tian, or Tian. I don't know how that's pronounced, but
yeah, people say it differently.
However you say it, I have that.
Okay.
So, yeah, and it comes with little things like the Mazda speed lips and just all these little Mazda speed features on it, and it helps with the aero cooling and all this stuff. It's like one of those packages that you either buy it when it comes out, but obviously it's really expensive because not a lot of people in Japan really, And when the cars got introduced here in America, we only got a total of RX-7s in total. I think in the total amount that we got was between us and Canada was like 15,000 or something like that.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. So they split that number in half. So obviously that model was never introduced to us over here, but it was only exclusively in Japan. So yeah, again, that car itself, like I said, it's a limited run just because of the Porsche, the whole Porsche thing. They defeated them at Bathurst, the race of Bathurst, 12-hour race, and they just give it a little kick up on the torque, and for the most part, normally some of the Bathursts have for the most part all Bathursts, unless you had a retouch like myself. They usually have the RB on the Bathurst symbol on the side, but in my case, not necessarily. Again, I did touch up the paint, so but yeah, and then we have to repaint the car again. So
pretty sure.
Yeah.
How long have you had the car too?
A little over 3 years, maybe.
Okay.
I want to say.
So pretty recent, huh?
Yeah, because it took me a minute to get the money together to even register the fucking car. So
yeah.
I stored a car for about a year. So
I see.
I had a good little minute. I mean, I tended it and gave it a little, ran it, made sure, because you never want to let a car, just in general. You never let it sit, And if you do let it sit, drain it. Don't leave any of the fluids inside. I mean, that causes the car engine to seize and lock up, and then you have another dilemma. But in this case we have EPE seal, so if it sits too long, they're a little more delicate in that case. You could have a catastrophic damages when you turn it over. Forget about the fucking what do they call them, the devil scratch marks, man. You can forget about that. That engine seized and you turn it over, oh, good luck. You just need a whole nother block after that.
That's crazy. How do you like the car so far? How has it been treating you, the engine wise and everything like that?
Well, maintenance is a bitch because you constantly gotta really, every time I pump gas, I gotta do a premix. So that's already a pain.
Yeah.
That's one more thing I didn't do to my Miata. So, but then there's the other thing where you gotta keep up with its tune-ups. You gotta make sure you keep track of that. You really don't want to be running a dirty oil, especially because in this case, since it already kind of burns oil off the back, because they're fucking notorious for that, you know. So you really want to keep up with its. I mean, every time before I drive it, I check. This is the reason why it's not a daily. This is the reason why. If it didn't have all that little things, that you have to do, then yeah, I'll drive this daily. But because it needs all that, it's more of a weekend car for that reason. So because on weekend I have time, I'm running late to work, I get into the Infiniti, I just bash on them all day. It's reliable. I like it. A lot of people don't like them because they say they drip oil and this and that. You know what? Name a car that doesn't. Eventually, they all do. So at the end of the day, but yeah.
I mean, what is your daily? The other car that you have? Right now?
It's a G37S.
Okay, sweet, awesome. Yeah, I have a G35 too, so it's like.
That's why I was pulled out. I was like, oh shit.
Yeah, it's funny. But yeah, I mean, I know rotary engines. Some people love them, some people hate them. I mean, for you, I mean, what's your whole opinion on the rotaries?
Okay, I'm gonna say what I feel. I like rotaries. I'm lucky. I had the privilege to be really taught in how to take care of them, how to deal with them, how to build them and so forth. So I had that privilege. Shout out to you, Nick, Pancho, but anywho, I was a privileged position to learn a thing or two from these guys too, And then Nick being a freaking like a sick legend himself. Nick was used to race for Mazda.
Really?
Yeah, he was the one. He used to drive a RX-7 FB.
Okay.
Not the FD, but the
FB.
Yeah. It sounds so similar, but they don't. Because someone told me I have an FB too, and I was like, what? I've never seen this fool's FB. What? and I said FD. In my head, that's what I heard. But I pull up to his. Yeah, I'm talking to you, Lure. So I pull up to the fact he has an FB. Fast forward to that. Rotaries don't have a great reputation, but it's usually because people mod them. That's the honest truth. If you change something on a car, you have to understand. You changed its mechanics. You changed everything. It's like you introduce something new to the algorithm, so it's gonna be different.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the reason why you hear such bad stories on these cars. And again, if you don't keep up with the maintenance and you're over here modifying things, I mean, you do the math. I'm like, eventually you're gonna end up in the same sad story. Everyone says, "Oh, the engine took a crap, so I went ahead and LS swapped it and blah blah." You're gonna end up with that sad story. But don't get me wrong, I like LS. They're dope ass engines. They're real reliable too. So I mean, like, I don't know, And again, a lot of people freaking they what is that? That word sacrilegious, they say, or something like that. When you swap out the heart of the engine, you drop an LS in it. You're like, oh, I can't believe he did that.
Yeah.
So, but it's cool. I mean, okay, yeah, it does upset the 50-50 fucking balance type of weight ratio on the car, But at the same time, I mean, it's cool. But again, do what you like, It is what it is. And for me, it's like that. Do what you like, and I mean, I'm more of a Mazda fan, not really a rotary guy. So I'm just in general fan of the brand. Like, I also have a CX-30 turbo. So
okay, sick.
There you go.
Nice. I mean, as for people that don't know much about rotary engines, how would you as a FD rotary owner, how do you explain the difference between a rotary engine versus like a piston rod engine? How would you explain it? Just for people that doesn't know.
Well, the explanation kind of changes here and there. Sometimes I tell you one thing, and then I'll tell you the same thing, but I'll use different words. You're like, you could have just said this. I could have, but this is what I was thinking at the moment.
Yeah, definitely.
So supposedly the rotary does everything a piston engine does it 3 times as faster.
Okay, that makes sense.
So because of the way it side to side do.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like my buddy says. Well, he has this weird saying: the world doesn't go up and down; it goes round and round. Rotary. But anywho, so rotary engines have that, and so also this is why they consume gas. So if you really think about it, because everyone sees, but it's a 1.3 liter, yes, but if you really think about it, it does things 3 times as fast and everything.
Yeah.
And you do the math to it, you end up realizing you're driving a V6. You know what I mean? So you're like, this is why it eats so much gas.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I mean, why else would it eat gas? Unless you have a leak, then, you know, then you really got to address that.
Yeah, exactly.
But for the most part, yeah, that's really how the car is. It's just it's different. It's just because its maintenance can sometimes be very tedious, you know, like very like just extra. But that's all that's really how it is. But then again, eventually when a car becomes a classic, you know, you're already in that path anyway. So I mean, that's a great car for that case. But I wouldn't really recommend it for a daily, honestly. I mean, that's messed up. I love the car, but I wouldn't. You know?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, what was the first mod that you did to the car too?
I believe the first mod I did to this car was literally. Oh, I think it was the shifter.
Okay.
I put a C shifter in it.
Okay, sweet.
So I was like, hell yeah.
Okay.
Coming up in the world. And I put the little bushing on it at the end. Instead of being like that little plastic one that it comes with, I put that brass one. I mean, if you're a Miata owner, you know what I'm talking about. I guess if you're a 7 owner, I mean, I personally learned it off Miata, so I wouldn't know if you guys do know about it, but I mean, it's the same damn shifter, obviously. To tell you the truth, I don't know if you knew that.
Okay. Yeah.
The shifter, the shifter is on the Miata NA is pretty much the same as the FD. So
yeah, it makes sense, honestly.
So,
yeah, same with like the G's and the Z's.
Oh yeah, like
pretty much the same thing,
interchangeable
right?
parts. Yeah, exactly. Like, you know, so which is like the easiest, I guess, funnest mod because I mean, like, you feel it.
Yeah.
You actually are aware that
exactly.
I did that.
Exactly.
But yeah,
that's awesome.
So
that's awesome for sure. I mean, if you want to just give a quick rundown on like what you have done to the car, whether whatever you got right there.
So right now we're running with Ray's Engineering's Mazda Speed wheels. We also have again, like I said, the actual short shifter, we cover that, but also have the Mazda Speed short shifter knob for the FD, which is very hard to get because everyone has a short Mazda Speed knob, but I actually have the long one meant for the car. Also, you know, the aftermarket steering wheel, which would be a Mazda Speed steering wheel. What is it, like I guess it would be considered a 3-spoke because the way it sits.
Okay.
It's like a T, yeah. So it's a cluster speedometer thing. It's also Mazda Speed as well with the Mia boost gauge. The center console itself, it's all Mazda Speed. The seats themselves are Recaro carbon Kevlar seats. They're also made for the FD. I mean, if you know about the RZ models, you know what I'm talking about. Or the Spirit R, that's another good example. But mine are black, so it's kind of, you can relate them. But yeah, and then just a full exhaust system. I forget the exhaust that it is, but I also have a Mazda Speed exhaust system that I'll throw on. I have 2 of them at home. I'm just waiting for the Mazda Speed diffuser brackets because I have the diffuser, but the diffuser that I have for the Mazda Speed I have at home, it's the bracket already kind of corroded. So someone made stainless steel brackets for me, so it doesn't happen again. It's coming from Pakistan, so oh yeah.
Nice.
And what else? I haven't thrown on the clutch yet. I have a twin plate Mazda Speed clutch that I haven't thrown on yet. Going to. The Mazda Speed sway bars. The Mazda Speed power plant. Oh, dude, it's Mazda Speed.
Everything Mazda.
It's just Mazda Speed. If it was on the catalog, it's on the fucking car.
Got it.
That's just as simple as that, you know.
For sure.
So there. But
sounds good.
Aftermarket parts itself would be like well, technically Mazda Speed would be considered an aftermarket part, but an aftermarket side brand that wouldn't be necessarily Mazda related will be my Auto X intake. It's a carbon intake.
Sweet.
And I replaced some of the piping too with what's it called? Aluminum piping, because some of the some of the pipings on cars this is like a 25 plus years old car, so some of those pipings are old. So they dry up, crack, and everything like that. And when they do that, they create vacuum leaks and problems and little idle problems. So went ahead to avoid all that. We went and swapped all the little vacuum lines on it, so it has blue silicone ones. I was going for the black ones, but it just kind of looked really just bland.
Yeah.
So I put blue ones. So.
Makes it pop a little bit.
Yeah, like it's not really aftermarket. Like it doesn't do anything, but it looks nice. So we went ahead and did that, and what else? We also put like I said, the main pipings, the intake pipes, little. We got that from CX Racing. Shout out to them because they hooked me up with a good deal. That was like a really good deal. It was just a couple bucks that I had basically in my pocket. But anyway,
Sweet.
It was great. It was great. I was like, shout out to them. Thank you. We also got a pitted racing recirculating valve, which technically, if you really put it down, it's a blow-off valve, but this has the option to reconnect the pipe. And reactivate it as if it was regular valve. But we decided to take it off, and this is why you hear it blow off.
I see.
Because the valve itself, instead of having a rubber diaphragm, it has a billet diaphragm, aluminum. So, longevity is what we're going for.
Yeah.
Again, reliability. That's what we're going
100%.
for. So yeah, and we took this car to Arizona, right?
Okay.
We drove it out there. We had intentions to do stuff over there. Anywho, so when we were taking it out there, one of my friends and I, old friend, I don't know how we are now, but it's called, we decided, wait, if we take this car out there, aren't these notorious for heat? Yeah. Doesn't the radiator first thing that blows on these? Yes. And then, so we decided, oh man, we should swap this out. So we started hitting everyone up, and then couldn't find anybody, to really have one right there and then. Even for some reason, Mazda Tricks told me that they I guess they didn't have some at the moment because they don't really have them right there. I was like, wait, what? But it says you guys usually you're supposed to kind of call in advance and blah blah. So I was like, damn it. And then also it's already kind of late. It's already gonna be 4:30. They close at 4:30, so it's it's just kind of a done deal. And we're like, damn, we're screwed. So I ended up just kind of getting sad. I already had booked the hotel we're gonna do a mission at, and so it was just I was like, damn, it sucks. It's done. I told my baby mom about it, and she's like, oh, you can't find it anywhere. Nah. Boom, she goes and types it on. I don't know why I didn't think of this. She goes on OfferUp.
Okay.
And she finds one on OfferUp. She finds a coil radiator, brand new. I think it was in El Monte, or I think it was El Monte. It was somewhere out there. So we hit up the guy early in the morning, and because we're trying to take off by at minimum at least Sunday. So because I had taken some time off of work. So we're gonna be there out there for about a week. So hit up the guy early in the morning. He's like, oh yeah, I have it. Some people also hit me up for it too, but he's like, hey man, if you pull up right now, it's all yours. So we pull up, and he lets it go for I think like $150.
Okay.
About 150 bucks or something like that.
Not bad.
And we're like, all right, cool. And then I kind of had my head, I was like, it's probably gonna be used. He's just showing a picture that's like, nah, man. His garage looked like he had like two S2Ks in there, and he had like an EG outside, and we pulled and then frames for days inside his garage. It looked like a straight up garage. And we pull up, and we're like, because it looked like when he showed the pictures, it looks like it's like he got a picture and downloaded it.
Right.
No, it was really. I was like, whoa, and then I'm like, it's brand new. He's like, yeah, I ordered one for my car, and they sent me the wrong one. And then I called them, and then they tell me, oh, really? Well, what do I do with this one? Well, I guess you can just keep it. And then he's like, he looked into it and he found out it's for an RX-7 FD. And I was like, lo and behold, like como like I say, ring to the finger or something like that, you know, like it just anillo el dedo, you know, bam, got it. So I'm like, oh, dude, it was meant to be. So yeah, we got that.
That's crazy.
Slapped it on. Went to Arizona, came back. So it does long trips, you know. So
yeah.
I mean, as long as again you make sure all the other stuff is
most
good.
definitely. That's awesome. Yeah. I mean, what's your favorite modification that you have done to the car overall? If you have to pick one, what would you choose?
Honestly, I would say the personally for me was putting the rear suspension, because I switched out the whole back suspension with that Pro Max, but it's not really a modification. It's actually just wheels, and the reason why wheels was because my daughter painted those wheels.
Really?
These wheels have been painted by her, and she did the whole thing, and it just kind of being with her, doing all that, you know, and even the wing, she did that at home too. She painted the wing on the car. So
okay, sweet.
That kind of, for me, that was just kind of a time well spent.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, it's not really a mod, but
it was sentimental right there
yeah,
too.
you know what I'm saying? It was,
yeah,
it was
exactly.
fun. It was, yeah, hell yeah.
That's awesome.
But yeah.
That's awesome. I mean, as for getting parts, like for this specific car too, how hard is it too? I mean, I know like you couldn't find that radiator, for example, you found an offer up, but in general, how hard is it finding parts or anything like that too?
If you plan with time, it's not too bad. But if it's last minute, it's terrible, you know? But if everything with the time, obviously for most things, that's how it is. But at least it's easier, just because the fact that if you have something you want from the car or something you can't get out here, but you're gonna bring it out from overseas, and you know, you gotta understand that also, let's just say you're working on a project and you just ordered like some freaking like, I don't know, some housings or something, right? And if they're not within the States, because now they make billet housings here too, you know?
Yeah.
Like you get them from Kyle Mohan, his KMR Racing or something like that, or Bullet Bulls, those companies. But if you're actually getting genuine stuff that's actually being brought to you from Japan, you gotta kind of plan like a month ahead. So like if you have a project, you kind of already expect that.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, so don't make a project like, oh, I'm gonna be done by next week. I just gotta order this part. Yeah, you should have ordered it a month ago.
Right.
Because if you're expecting it tomorrow, it ain't gonna happen. But for the most part, like that's just kind of how it is. I mean, the reason why it's still simple for me, just because again, I kind of know where to kind of go, and you know, and then you always talk to someone that happens to like, you know, this is the cool thing about the car community, though. I'll give this. If you need something and you want something and you put it out there, someone's gonna tell you, hey, so and so is selling. I don't know if you know who he is, but he has one for sale, and it makes it easier too. So I mean, as long as you're kind of cool with meeting up someone that you don't really fucking know, in the middle of like a freaking, let's just say, middle of nowhere, like in a, hopefully not an alley, because that's just on you at that point. Yeah. But you know, as long as you're cool with all that, like, you know, that for the most part, getting parts is not too hard. But the honestly, with the Classic, the problem is it comes with the cost. That's the hard part. The cost. Yeah. You know, because like, you could find everything you kind of want for your car, any car, but are you willing to pay for it? Yeah, exactly. You know, that's just a whole nother story, you know? Exactly. Like the lights on this car right here, these are Mazda speed lights, and there's only 50 pair made. Really? Yeah, it's only exclusively available again to Japan. And I found this out because my buddy Herb, which is also friends with Johnny, I guess you guys probably seen him. He has his car in one of the freaking video games. I forget his name. It's that neon green RX-7 with the canards and all this, and it has like Pennzoil on the side. Oh, I know exactly who you're talking about. Okay, so that guy, his buddy is my buddy. My buddy told me, FYI, there's some lights and this and that. Go ahead and grab them if you can. So I went ahead and then jumped on them, and yeah.
Okay.
And
nice.
so the lights on the car were about 2,500.
Okay.
Yeah. So again, that's what I'm saying. Like, it comes with the cost.
Exactly.
How bad do you want it?
Yeah. Exactly.
But yeah, so that's how it really is to retrieve parts, at least for this vehicle.
Yeah. Yeah. 100%.
Honestly, that's the only thing that I think that kind of sucks about having a classic. It's just the prices of everything. I mean, have you seen the Supras? Just anything Supra, just
yeah.
You know, like, oh, I want the OEM TRD.
Exactly.
Like, I'm sorry, you said TRD? Oh yeah, that just jacked up the price by like $5,000. Wait, but it was $200 originally. Yeah, I know. So
that's wild.
But yeah, that's how it kind of goes with. And then even the, like, I don't want to even say the GTRs, because GTRs on they're like in a whole nother realm.
Oh yeah, it's
like
wild.
Like we're on Asgard right now, and these guys are like wherever the Bifrost takes them. You know what I'm saying? Like, yes, I'm a big Disney fan, so I watch a lot of Marvel.
For sure.
So, but yeah, basically that's how it is with the prices now with the classics.
Yeah,
I mean, even
definitely.
the Miatas are going up too, you know?
Yeah, I mean, every car, I feel like, especially, I mean, even like more entry-level type of sports cars, like the Zs, especially, the 350Zs, 370s.
There's a big demand for the Zs now, even the throwback ones.
Especially because there's a lot less clean title ones now, too. Yeah. You find a lot less. If you find one, it's clapped out, salvage title, all this and that.
Or sometimes you find one and you find another one, and then with the two, you make one. You know, like I'm serious. You see people chopping bodies of cars, you know, because the one's destroyed from the back and the other one's destroyed from the front, you know. So go figure, you're gonna fucking just slap them together, you know. It makes sense to me too. But I mean, at that point, it could be a clean title if you think about it, because it would be considered a new vehicle unless you're using the old. I don't know how that works, you know. But that's just a whole nother headache.
For sure.
But yeah.
Okay, for sure. I mean, let's move on to how is the RX-7 community? Like, I'm sure you know a bunch of RX-7 owners and everything. You touched on it, but overall, how's the community in the rotary scene?
Just make sure you have the keys for every gate, because at every gate there is a keeper. Basically, it's gonna be honestly, it's gonna be a bitch if you really are not close with some people within a certain group right off the back before you get the car. It's gonna be hard to get really anything, honestly, because a lot of people tend to gatekeep, you know. And but as we were talking, most of the car community can sometimes be like that too, you know. But if you set yourself with a good group of guys, you know, people, and you know, even some females might surprise you. They show you like, hey, like I got something, this and that. I can show you how to get. I'm like, oh, what the fuck? I didn't even know this.
Yeah.
Like, you just blew my mind. And she's like, yeah, I know, but you didn't know. I know. That's why I just said. But anywho, so yeah. For the most part, like it's if you're a 7 owner, a new one, it's gonna feel hostile. If you're an old head, not so much, because you kind of know how what is it, the word, the way the water flows, the way the river flows. You kind of know how the current goes.
Yeah.
So just don't go kind of with the current, because then you're just gonna be another douchebag, you know. But don't want to be that guy, you know. So, but it's tough when you're a new 7 owner, you know.
I see.
But if you're already like you hit your milestone kind of thing, I don't know when you hit it, but eventually people start actually telling you stuff. And when people start telling you stuff, that's when you know you hit the milestone. Like, for sure. Got it. But yeah, it's just rough and overall in that case. But I've set myself up with a group of guys that we always kind of roll together. That's the kind of the group you saw me with.
Yeah.
So we're kind of a open group. Some of these guys one of them I know for sure is new to it. The other guy, second, kind of new to it, not too much. And then the other guys have backgrounds in it, because one of them, his brother already had an FD, and so he had pre-exposure to the rotary world, you know.
I see.
So, but yeah, so I kind of roll with that little group, and it's cool. And then they need info or anything, I always give them info, you know.
Good.
And yeah, that's how it is.
Okay, for sure. I mean, overall, like rounding it out, I know RX-7 is a lot of people's dream cars, for sure. What would you tell somebody if it is their dream car? Like, should they get it? What advice would you give them too, right there?
You know what? Like honestly, it's the kind of I was telling you. There's no dream that's too far and not achievable. You know, I mean, you could get anything and everything in this world. You know, it's these sacrifices we make, and I'm not saying like literally go up to the hill and be like, "This is for you, give me what I wish for." Not like that. I'm saying more like the aspect where like you gotta commit time to whatever it is you do, the skill, the ability, the hobby, the craft that you have that provides and puts food on the table for you, you know, or however it is you obtain the things you obtain. If you put more time to that, you should easily be able to achieve what you're aiming for. At least for me, I was aiming for an NA Miata when I first started, right? Kind of getting like a clean one, you know, like a clean one, because the one I got, just bad, you know. I kind of felt, like I said, I hated the freaking NA, honestly. Like at first, working on it, driving it changed my mind completely. But then I was just so sad because it had chip paint. It was just so sad.
Yeah.
It was just a sad car, dude. So sad. At the time, it was considered like a chick car, and it was a sad car to look at too. But you know, so I really wanted a clean an NA, and never got to that goal. Well, but I ended up getting the next goal, which I really didn't think was an achievable goal, which back in high school, I always remember seeing I never knew it was a Miata too, to tell you the truth. The NB, the Mazda speed model, I never knew it was a Miata because it doesn't have pop-up lights.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's just like, I didn't know. And, and I was just like, that car looks pretty dope, you know? And then I wanted it too. And I'm like, it's weird because I like American cars.
Yeah.
Yet I find that car pretty dope, you know, pretty cool. It's pretty small and everything, you know. Like, it looked like a sports car that I can see myself in. And that didn't happen according to me, you know, at the time. I was like, screw it, you know. Like, you know what? I'm just gonna keep focusing on what I'm doing my thing, the process. You know, I ended up having an FC RX-7 long before I had the NB Miata that I have now. Which is funny, you know, like you kind of just skipped over the little slower car. And then you could, yeah. So, anywho, but yeah, so for the most part, like I said, like I focused and I ended up just, you know, busting my rear, I guess you could say, to make sure I could get to what I needed to. It's kind of like when I bought my house too, you know. Fun fact, I bought the car before I bought the house, but, you know. It was, you know, again, this is what I'm saying, like what you want, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
You know, you know, my little girl and her mom, they really wanted a house. Well, I had a different objective. You know, I was trying to reach my goal first. Let me take care of what I need. Let me do what I have to do.
Yeah. And
we're gonna go ahead and then, you know, focus on what you want. We reached our goal. You know, well, my goal, not our goal. It's kind of selfish of me. My bad. So, but I reached my goal. And then afterwards, I focused on what she wanted, and when I got her place, you know, and so, like, and it comes down to it, like, it's just as long as you push and push and push to what it is you're good at, you're gonna be able to, you know, achieve it, you know.
Yeah, 100%.
And at the end of the day, even if you get yourself something that's just terrible, you know, well, not really terrible, but more like it just looks not so appealing, at least like. When I got my FC, it wasn't a really nice car to look at. It was in bad condition. It had 3 different coats of primer on it. Primer, old primer. So it looked like one of those camouflage paint, but it was primer though. So it didn't look so nice and everything, but you know what? I was happy with it. It was my car. So I was like, hell yeah. And you know, I ended up making it a monster after, you know, and after that, it was just kind of went from there. And again, it took a minute to get to where I needed to get to.
Yeah, it was definitely, for sure. I like that, for sure. I mean, for the end of the whole episode, we'd like to stick with Lucky Seven's like final questions. So I have a little list right here. So first question of the final 7 questions is basically, what's your favorite part of the whole car community in general, right there?
Well, the favorite part when I was in a Miata, it seemed like as long as you're not up here or it looks like you're up here, you know, it seems like everyone seems to kind of get along with you. Yeah. You know, I have a few, I would say, friends, you know, that they kind of hit me with that some energy, you know, they like, you know, but, you know, at the end of the day, it's like you're going to have people that like what you do and love what you do or love who you are and how you are. And based off of that, you're pretty much you're gonna flow well with everyone. So, you know, and that's how I do. I mean, if you don't like what I have, well, hopefully at least you like my energy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm hoping that's just, you know, like that's good enough. Because I mean, for the most part, because I've done this, I've managed to meet people like yourself. Yeah. You know what I mean? So, and yeah, so far it's been kind to me, I guess you could say.
Yeah, most definitely.
So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, next question. I mean, you kind of touched on it, but what's your least favorite part of the car community?
Oh yeah, well yeah.
Yeah, you kind of touched on it.
Just kind of yeah. So it's just the negativity, you know. It's just
yeah, most definitely.
It's just like people sometimes get upset or tell you, oh, how come you don't do this or how come you don't do that, you know? And it's like because I don't want to. That's why, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
It's my right to choose not to do something or go somewhere, you know, vice versa, you know. So, and some people don't take that as an answer. They take that as like, sometimes it's looked as a challenge. It's like, why? You know, it's kind of like when you find yourself on the freeway and you're rolling and then some guy pulls up next to you and then he's just revving it up on you, just hoping, you know, you'll blast it too with him. And then you kind of don't do it. And then he kind of goes, he does that little face. It's like, okay, go about your day, brother. Like, don't worry about what I'm doing.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's kind of the negativity I don't like. You know, it's like, instead of like when I come across other situations where like even where people are like, all right, cool, you know, and that's it, you know. And then also I don't really like these new meets that happen now because it seems like every time there's a car meet now, like, you know how back in the day you used to have these cool little underground car meets?
Yeah.
Where you guys meet up, hey, so we're going to go run it somewhere, right?
Yeah, exactly.
When you're setting up those plans, someone decides to start doing donuts in the middle of the intersection, and then that spot gets burned. So now you got to find a whole new spot to kick it at. And that's one thing I do miss about when I used to go to Keynod. You know, they're not like that, but they're more laid back. But yeah, so most of these new car meets nowadays, that's what you get every time.
Yeah.
Almost right off the back, every single someone's gonna two-step, someone's gonna burn out, and then cops will be there in no time, and then it just ruins the fun for everybody. You know, and then the worst part is when people get hit and they get hurt. You know, and it's just like, damn, all that could have been avoided if you just stayed your ass at home.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, but that's the negative shit.
Yeah, I agree with you on that one for sure. That's why, I mean, when I got into cars, it was 2019, 2020, like going into COVID. I feel like that whole year of 2020 into COVID and everything, that was like the peak of, how do you explain it? Like the peak of the downfall type of thing for night car meets right there.
Kind of like the stock market.
Pretty much, exactly.
Like overnight.
Exactly. Because I remember going to car meets. There was car meets like every day of the week.
Almost every day,
Exactly. And we used to go to all these car meets, and it used to be chill. Quality cars and everything. Good cars, good people, good vibes, everything. Then I feel like everything started opening back up. A lot more people started going out. And then that's when it got a lot worse, and that's why I personally don't even go to night car meets anymore.
Yeah, that's probably the reason. Honestly, why a lot of people don't really with nice cars show up anymore. Now, when you go to car meets, it's a dealership, if you know what I mean. It's either a Dodge dealership or it's a Chevy dealership, depending what dealership you pull up to.
Pretty much.
You know.
Yeah.
But for the most part, that's how it really is.
Yeah.
And you know, you don't really get those guys that like, oh yeah, it took me 15 years to get the car, I got it. You don't get that story anymore, you know, and it's like, damn, you don't get that connection, that info, that intel, that you know, like where can I get a diff for my Infinity? Kind of in my case, you know, because it's been slipping a lot. But, you know, where, you know, type of thing. And for low price, you know, you don't meet people like that anymore. You know, you just get people that know where to get cheap tires to burn them out quick.
Pretty much.
Know? And that's because that's what takeover is all about.
Yeah, that's unfortunately that's how it is nowadays.
Yeah.
That's why me personally too. I just go to morning car meets mostly. That's
Cars and Coffee.
Yeah, that's how I saw you. The Cars and Coffee in Walnut over there. Shout out to Sonke Blue over there. But yeah, morning Cars and Coffee. That's the way to go for sure nowadays, for sure. But moving on to the next question. Do you have any controversial car opinions? Anything like that too? I mean, you kind of touched on some, but any controversial opinions?
Not so much. I kind of like all cars in general because you got to understand that all cars have some type of engineering behind them.
Yeah.
So you got to respect. If you don't respect the car, at least respect the engineer. You know, because some of these guys, they went to school for so many years, and then this is what they came out with. And might not be like the next fucking Bugatti or something like that, but it's technology that we didn't have because of, you know, we didn't have that technology before him. Now we do.
Yeah. Yeah, every car has a purpose.
Yeah, so like we learn
something
something from each fucking car, honestly.
For sure.
So I really don't have a really negative opinions to say on cars, you know.
Okay, for sure. I mean, if you want to answer this one too, it would be if you have any regrets in the car scene at all too.
Yeah.
Like anything you would want to touch on right there?
Tickets, a lot of tickets. There's a lot of parts right there, dude, honestly.
Yeah, for sure.
The constant, you go to school a bunch of times, you learn how to fucking extend your tickets to kind of do the classes so you could remove the points, and you learn the whole system kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then it's like, I wish I could take that back. And because that's gonna slow you down, honestly, overall, to reach your goal. Like if I would have, like honestly, if I would have fucking, I could have just easily not done all this stuff where getting arrested and so forth and all that crap, you know what I mean? And then all because I wanted to go fast, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I could have avoided all that, and I could have saved up that same money and fixed up that NA that I had instead of wanting to buy a whole nother one because I was just sad with that one because I had like a little hit too. So, and it was just like, I could have saved all that money, but then even then, I could have saved up even more of that money and just bought the NB.
Yeah.
But we didn't, you know what I mean? And so if I could take all that and also the, you know, like the reason why I got into an accident once too, where like I couldn't move this side of my body for a while, and if I could go back and undo that, that would be cool too. Those are like my regrets, just like being, I guess you could say, being irresponsible.
Yeah.
But again, I was young, so. But that's no reason for, you know, for doing this shit. But you don't realize that death's a real thing until you go up in age.
Oh yeah. For sure. Yeah, at the end of the day, like you said earlier, you live and you learn in life right there. That's with anything, for sure. But moving on to the next question. I mean, if you would, I know you kind of touched on it, but what's one car that you would wipe from existence if you could? If you would want to, even.
To really take something out, huh?
One guy, the last episode, he said all the Prius drivers, all the dumb Prius drivers and everything, but
I mean, I would want to say electric vehicles, but I kind of see what the intention is.
Yeah.
You know, so maybe not so much. So maybe not. I can't think of anything.
Okay, for sure. No worries on that. I mean, what would be your dream car, or even if this is your dream car? Or anything?
This is one of the goals.
One of them. Okay.
But the other goal is that's a whole lot of money.
What's that?
I'm not trying to put that much effort or sacrifice, you know, because I got a kid. I got to make sure she makes it up in life, you know.
Yeah.
But if I abandon everything of that, then maybe it's possible. But that's just up. So, what's called the Porsche GT 2006.
Okay.
And I've been around them in person. Amazing car, dude.
Mm.
This is, that's really what it got me fucking going for the double clutch. You know what I mean? Because they have a twin plate clutch. So kind of when I was like, oh, dude, that's why they feel so fucking like dope when they take off.
Definitely.
But again, we all know how much they cost. This is a couple, like 2-3 houses, something like that, in LA. In LA.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so that's like, nah, I think I'm good. I think we're gonna go the way we're going. It's slow and steady, like the turtle in the hare. Slow and steady wins the race.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah,
for sure. I mean, I know this is one of your dream cars, of course.
Yeah.
But how do you feel about like the other, I would say like JDM legends too, like the GTRs, the what else, the Supras, NSXs even. How do you feel about those other?
well, my
JDM
buddy
legends?
has he has 2 GTRs. He has that Millennium Green or some shit. I
The
forget.
Millennium Jade.
That shit, the Nur, Spec Nur, whatever.
Okay, sweet, yeah.
He has that, and then he also has 2 of those, and he had the GTR that was modded from Japan. Omari factory or something. I forget the fucking
Oh
place.
yeah, the Omori, I think.
The
right?
Omori factory, yeah. So his shit was built over there.
Sweet.
The S1 engine, whatever. But
Yeah.
fucking yeah. So those are cool cars. I would want them. I'm not gonna lie. But I don't know really enough from them. Like I know just the information, general information that everyone knows. Midnight Purple, yeah. Nismo, yeah.
Exactly.
It's just the general information that we know. But as in terms to really break my back to go for him, no. But in terms of if I could get it, yeah, I'll just get it. But but in that case, if I'll get that, I'll just go get the Porsche, Because at this point, GTRs are basically going, they're around that. They're just,
they're the same level of that.
Pretty much at this point,
Yeah.
And a Supra, it's still a realistic goal, just got to really hammer it down.
Yeah.
Also NSXs, they're going up too, so it's still a reachable goal. But my buddy, 2 of my buddies, 3. Fuck, I forget how many people I have. Okay, so I have a few people that have NSXs, and 2 of them I know are right-hand drive. They brought from Japan.
Okay.
And I think the other 2 are USDM. They're American.
Okay, nice.
And it's cool, but I'll tell you this: if you're a big fella, like if you're 5'9", just in height, the RX-7 is gonna feel kind of uncomfortable to drive. If you're a 5'9", hefty fella, I suggest to get a fucking bucket seat, because I did. But if you are a guy that also is in the same height ratio, for at least for the NSX, it's the same it's the same vibe when you get into it. Not, performance wise, obviously they're not the same. Mechanically speaking, they're different. But in terms of space and everything, they're very similar. So that's kind of the reason why I wouldn't want to go for NSX. They're freaking dope though. They're like, I guess they look like a low-key Lamborghini type of style kind of vibe. Like that's what they are, kind of thing. You know how the poor man's rich car is a MR2?
Yeah.
So that rear engine drive.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, that it's kind of like that. Like I would want it, but I probably wouldn't want it just because of the fact that I already have a hard time getting to this guy. Can you imagine getting to another car? It's just like, so maybe the GTR is cool and the Supra are cool, but that's about it. That's as far as the fun goes.
Okay, for sure.
But I like the NSX though. Again, I like it, but I'm a big guy, dude. So.
Yeah, most definitely. One question that I thought of that I didn't ask earlier, what makes the RX-7 one of your dream cars right there too? Like what made you ultimately get that car?
Because I had a white Miata NA.
Okay, for sure. So you just wanted to stick with the Mazda?
Yeah, well, kind of why I went with the white.
Okay, for sure.
Yeah, so it's I I'm a what they call a loyalist type of thing. Like
For sure, yeah.
like if I work for a company back in the day, I used to work for John Deere, so I used to only buy John Deere products.
Mm.
So you know, so
Yeah, I
I'm
feel
like,
you, yeah.
jacket John Deere, boots John Deere. Like, dude, I was just John Deere. Like, so I get involved with something, I just really fall
Yeah,
in love
you
with it.
stick
Yeah.
with it and
Yeah.
everything. Okay, for sure. I
So
respect that. Okay, well, last final question right here. What's some advice? I mean, you know, you've dropped a bunch of advice for people, but what's some advice you'd give to a new car enthusiast, like maybe trying to get into cars, anything like that too? Any piece of advice that you got?
I'm gonna tell you like how my pops used to say. They'll say, "Don't do drugs." Yeah. I'm like, the fuck? I'm like, what about it? No, I'm just saying because fucking cousin the other day he crashed. He was over here driving and stuff like, oh fuck.
No,
But
no.
that's
Yeah.
one thing to know. Like, yeah, like if you're gonna blaze or do it, just make sure you're not behind a vehicle. But also, while working on a vehicle, make sure you're also uh you have like some type of guidance, some type of reference, some type of knowledge of what you're gonna do before you get to it. Because sometimes you might find yourself doing something that you don't have no idea how to do, and the mess could be worse if you didn't have someone there to guide you, or some type of example, or some type of reference to do what you were going to do. Because I had a friend that worked on a buddy's BRZ, with his cousins to be exact. He started swapping out some parts on his car, and then I guess the rear subframe, and it was just a mess.
I see.
And then I guess he didn't know that the bolts in the back have like a rear tilt into them.
Right.
So I went over to his house. I just happened to go over, you know, and he's kind of new to working on cars. He's only worked on 240s. So that's all he knows. So, and he goes and decides to work on that car. I pull up. And you know what? I'm just trying to freaking kick back that day, just chill. I was already drinking. I was 3 tall boys in. So almost gone. So then I notice he's having trouble. So I have to wait because I realize he doesn't want to ask me because he feels some type of way, but never be embarrassed to ask a fucking question.
Yeah, exactly.
If you don't know, you don't know. You know what I mean? And it's fine.
Exactly.
You know how they say no such thing as a stupid question, it's a stupid person, but you're stupid because you haven't asked. That's why I asked all the questions I asked. I just didn't want to be stupid. You know what I mean? Yeah, and it sounds insulting, but I mean, but at the same time, it's like, you gotta look at it this way. If you don't know what you're doing and you're about to work on something and you're about to wreck it, you're gonna feel a lot stupider then.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
100%.
So it's better to ask the questions that seem silly. You know what I mean? Just because, hey, a silly question can save you a whole freaking headache. Because you know how sometimes they say, oh, this is a 2-hour job or 20-minute job or something like that. And then you find yourself in a 16-hour shift. Like, what the fuck? This was supposed to be easy.
It happens.
And you didn't ask the questions. You know what I mean? You didn't have the person next to you to tell you, like, hey, you know? And I guess now, especially because you have YouTube and all that, you could easily just Google shit and just type it up on YouTube too. Like, how do you change this?
Yeah, exactly. You find everything.
You find step by step. And they even because they know it's so freaking long, they speed up the video for you, you know? And so you can just do that. And honestly, that's probably the best advice I can give you. If you don't know, just ask.
Yeah, don't be afraid to ask questions.
Yeah.
For sure, I like that, for sure. Well, that's the end of the episode. Thank you to Alex. I mean, where could they find you at, too? On Instagram or
on
TikTok?
Instagram, yeah, you can find me on FCRX1987.
Okay, for sure. Any other shout-outs you would want to give, actually, while we're here?
Oh, yeah, there's a couple.
You can go for it. Feel free.
Shout out to my boy, Uli. Shout out to my boy, two homies, Ulis. Coincidentally, I have 2 friends, yeah, Uli. And shout out to Albert, Caesar. I can never say the other guy's name, but he's part of the group. It's Ken. I call him Ken. So it's a long name, dude. But yeah, sorry, dude. Your name's hard, bro. So yeah.
It'd be like that.
I was like, I don't know. Like, so, but yeah. Hey, thank you guys also for your support too, because you guys kind of got me fucking rolling with you guys, and now I kind of feel comfortable now going back out to the community.
Yeah, that's good for sure.
Yeah.
All right, for sure. Well, yeah, thank you again, Alex. This has been the Dare to Drive podcast. Thank you guys all for listening. And don't forget to dare to drive, everybody.